Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico, where we can take you beyond the usual on your vacation. Each week we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only locals can. Get real tips to real places, insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So pour yourself a margarita, mezcal, or tequila, grab yourself a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Loco Gringo, Mexico. My name's Kay Walton. Well, first off, I have to thank all of you for such an overwhelmingly great response about our podcast. It's been wonderful to have you all with us, and we love all your great feedback. And a few of you have asked questions after hearing these stories of all these people who have started businesses and retired here or have had their families here about moving to the area, buying property, investments, and I thought one of the best people to address those types of questions would be my friend Rob Kinnon over at Buy Playa. And Rob has extensive experience in real estate here in the area, and he is going to be answering your frequently asked questions once a month. And if you have something in particular that you'd like to ask Rob, you can email those questions to me at ask@locogringo.com. So, without further ado, here's Rob. This episode is brought to you by Buy Playa. You know, lots of people ask us for information and help when it comes to real estate, whether they're looking for retirement, an investment property, or maybe they're looking to relocate to the area. And we refer them over to our friends at Buy Playa. The folks at Buy Playa we've known for years, and they'll make sure that you, the buyer, are fully protected and informed when it comes to buying real estate. So if you're looking to buy a piece of paradise, check out our friends at buyplaya.com.
Okay, thanks so much for the warm introduction. I've really enjoyed listening to your podcast series. It's really been fun hearing about all the different types of folks that are living here in the Riviera Maya. As you may or may not know, my wife Michelle and I moved here 13 years ago from the cold upstate New York region. We've raised both of our kids here in the Playa del Carmen area over that time and have enjoyed watching the area grow from what was, kind of a sleepy little fishing village back in the early 2000s to what it's become today. We started Buy Playa after we purchased our first property and were relatively confused about the process. Back then, there just wasn't people that were dedicated to being a buyer's representative. The agents that were working here at the time were both buyer and seller representatives, and we wanted to start the company mainly so that we could work just one side of the table, which is that we specialize in being buyers' representatives on the purchase of real estate here in the Riviera Maya. As a buyer's representative, the very first question I'm always asked is it legal for foreigners to own property in Mexico? And of course, the answer is a resounding yes. The Mexican Constitution states that foreigners cannot own property in what is considered the restricted zone, which is 100 kilometers from the borders and 50 kilometers from the coastline. In order for an investment to occur here, obviously there needed to be vehicles by which foreigners could own property. The first vehicle that some folks will use when investing here in the area is to form a Mexican corporation, and that Mexican corporation then directly holds title to a property. It's not really the most preferred vehicle for ownership of a resort property, a vacation property down here, as you are forming a corporation which has obvious legal obligations for taxes and things of that. But that's a whole different matter that we can discuss later. The most popular way for foreigners to own property in Mexico, and it's in the restricted zone, is to own it in what is called a Fideicomiso. The easiest way to understand what a Fideicomiso is just to think of a bank trust. The trust that you form with a bank of your choosing would hold title to your property, and as the owner, you would be considered the beneficiary of the trust. Obviously, you can name your spouse or other partners as other beneficiaries to the trust. And one of the very nice things about setting up a trust here in Mexico is that you would then also be naming your secondary beneficiary or your heirs to the trust. The upside to a secondary beneficiary is in the untimely passing of a primary beneficiary. There really is no probate process. Simply put, the secondary beneficiary presents a death certificate to a notary and to the bank that holds the trust, and they are immediately named as the primary beneficiaries of the trust, and thereby avoiding any lengthy probate process. Now, some of my clients, hear the word Fideicomiso and they think it sounds scary, and they want to know, what are the risks associated with holding title to your property in a Fideicomiso? Really, to be honest with you, there really are no risks. You are holding title to your property just as you would in a bank trust in the United States or Canada. And essentially, if you want to buy a property, sell a property, use the property, improve upon your property, you have full rights to do so. The bank does not limit you in any way about how you want to enjoy your property. Again, this is simply a vehicle for ownership, nothing more and nothing less. There are some costs associated with this. When you're setting up your Fideicomiso or trust, you do pay a setup fee. Normally that's going to range anywhere between $700 and $1,500 depending on the bank that you choose. You will have annual trust fees, and those trust fees are going to again range anywhere between $400 and $1,000 a year. That may sound a little expensive, but when you consider that property taxes here in our area are equivalent to about 10% of what you're used to paying in the United States or Canada, you'll see that overall ownership of property here is a great bargain as compared to what we're used to seeing back home in the US or Canada. The only real other cost associated with having the trust is the fact that it is a trust that is good for 50 years. It is automatically renewable, so you do have to budget into the fact that every 50 years you're going to need to renew your trust, which will cost for, $1,000. Obviously, there's a lot of other factors that come into play when you're purchasing a property here, and that's why we work very extensively with some very reputable law firms here in the area. In the nearly 13 years that I have been selling real estate in the area, I have never recommended anyone purchase property without having solid legal representation. Not for any other reason than it's great to make sure and have the peace of mind that a thorough due diligence has been done on the property, making sure there are no liens on it, making sure there are no encumbrances to your full ownership of the property. Clearly, this is meant just to be a kind of a broad overview of the purchasing process using a Fideicomiso. The best way to get a thorough understanding of it is for somebody to give us a call. Obviously, we do have more information on our website, which is buyplaya.com. Feel free to contact us through the website. We'd be more than happy to get back to you based on your questions. If you would, just let us know what you're most interested in, what geographic location that you're looking for property in, or any information that would help us out. An organization such as ours is only as good as the teammates that we have on it. Each and every member of our team has lived here in the Riviera Maya for years, and all of our buyer representatives have at least, 8 to 10 years experience at least in working in the real estate field in the area. Obviously, as the months go on and my podcasts continue to grow, I would love to hear what kind of information the public is looking for. The biggest part of working with buyers is the dialogue that we have. Everybody is different. Everybody has different questions. Everybody has different concerns. The one thing that all of our clients have in common is that it's their dream to own property here in the Riviera Maya. We take it seriously that it is our job to try to make it as easy as possible and as comfortable as possible in the purchase process here. It's supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be scary. We try to do our best to make this feel like you're buying property back in the US or in Canada. Whether you're buying a retirement home or an investment property, or you're choosing to move down here like my wife and I did 13 years ago, this is supposed to be fun. We were all first-time buyers down here at one point or another, and we understand that it is scary. But, we really do go out of our way to try to make this as easy a process as it is, and let you understand that having the dream of ownership here is really, really obtainable. With that, I'd like to invite you guys to feel free to email me at rob@buyplaya.com with any direct questions you have about ownership. Perhaps on a future podcast, we can address them there. I would very much like to thank Kay and the team at Local Gringo for inviting us to come on and talk a little bit about what we do here at Buy Playa. It really has been fun to do. And thank, of course, all of you for listening.
Well, are you inspired now to move down here? Do you want to move down here and have a little place of your own? Well, then you need to talk to our friends at Buy Playa. They have a friendly and knowledgeable international staff. They speak lots of languages, and they are known as being a buyer's agent. Well, what does that mean? That means they are only going to show you and sell you properties they know that have escrituras. An escritura is a title. And it's part of their due diligence to make sure the title is clear, there's no liens, and that the person who's selling the property is actually the owner. Buy Playa works with lawyers that specialize in Fideicomisos, which is a Mexican trust. You may have heard of it already before. And they can address things such as capital gains problems immediately and right up front, so that you have no surprises along the way to closing. So contact our friends at Buy Playa at buyplaya.com. Hey everyone, it's Kay here again, and before you take off, just a reminder that if you're looking to own a piece of paradise, you can visit Rob's website at buyplaya.org. Now, if you have questions that you'd like Rob to answer, please email them to me, ask@locogringo.com, and I'll make sure Rob gets those straight away. And you can look forward to Rob's real estate insights once a month here at Loco Gringo, Mexico.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana, su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza, pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca, y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma, croa, croa, dedos de agua, croa, croa, dedos de pluma.